Hey there, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sydney Kane. I'm a Shenandoah Valley wedding and portrait photographer, and today I'm going to show you how I plan my blogging content calendar. I'm going to take you guys deep into what my content calendar looks like, how I set it up, and how I use it as my workflows. So I'm just going to get right into it and show you guys everything I have in here because there's a lot to go through. Alright, so first of all, this is my content calendar for 2021. I have my 2020 content calendar here. When I restarted my website, it started back in August, so that's why there's only a few months here. But this is my 2021 content calendar, and right now it is only the end of March, so I've only gotten this far actually through, but this is what the content calendar looks like in the back end. So up at the top, I have, in my branding colors, I have all of the workflow stations, and then I divide each month by this gray bar so I can look at it month chunks. It really helps my brain process it. And then for each of these is a singular blog post. So as you can see, I blog twice a week. On Mondays I blog a portfolio post, and then on Thursdays I alternate between a photographer education post and a client education post. And as you can see, sometimes I do two back to back. It just kind of depends on how my content calendar is set up, what blog posts I just have done at that time, or if I wanted to add something to a YouTube video, because I also do YouTube videos every Thursday. So it's not always on the exact schedule I like it to be on, but that's pretty much the pattern I follow. So for this, this is the number of blog posts it is. So I just published number 70 for this blog since I started it back in August. This first column lets me know if the blog is completely complete, if I have followed through all of them, except for over here, I'll get to there. But if in that day, that one's completely finished. So that's how I know. This is the date of January so that I can see these are the categories. And then here are the titles of the blog posts. And normally I just copy and paste these over, and this really helps me know what's coming up. For the notes, this is anything special. I don't have any notes over here, but for example, back in 2020, these were all the ones I went for in the beginning. This one I wanted to make a freebie for. These ones went along at the same time I did a 5-day challenge. So that's any notes that I want to have. All right, and so here is where we kind of get into the workflow of my blogging. So this first one is outline. Have I created the post in WordPress? Have I figured out what subsections I want, like what big topics I want to talk about, and then I brainstormed things that I wanted to put in there. I always do that first because it makes writing way easier, and I can do that all at once. So it's way less time. So this is my outline. This next one where it says blog, that means is it fully written? Is it actually in the blog post? Are there images? Is the SEO there? Is the blog post ready to publish? And that's usually when that goes up. These are Pinterest pins. Have I create these? I pretty much only do these for educational posts. That's why there's little gray spaces everywhere. It means I'm not doing those. So have I created Pinterest pins for that blog post that I put at the bottom of each blog post, and then I put even more into Tailwind and Pinterest. And then for this, once the blog is live, have I put all of the photos into Tailwind to later be put into Pinterest because I want people to find my stuff on Pinterest. This is email list. Have I emailed my email list about that blog post, a big takeaway from it? I don't do that very often, as you can see, but I want that to be part of my workflow. For this, do I have a freebie that goes along with it? I am working on getting more freebies out there for you guys, so I want to incorporate more, but for here, I had a client questionnaire, which you can get for free, that is associated with this. And then these are for social media. So did I post it in my feed for Instagram? You can see these ones are all yeses. This one I haven't done that yet, but it's in my content calendar, which is another video. For this, have I made a reel for it? These ones I haven't, but the ones with X's I have. So just looking at this immediately, I can just look to these light oranges and see which ones I need to make reels for. Instagram graphics are something I've been working on. I haven't started posting them yet because they are very time consuming, and I just haven't really gotten to them yet. And then over here, I have possible titles for blog posts and email letters. I've collected them from all over the place, so I kind of use them whenever I get stuck. So this is what my content calendar looks like, and that's just the one spread. We'll go through all of these too. So like I said, this one is my 2020 content calendar, so this one's all complete. And then this one I'm working on. So I have planned out all of April and most of May. So today I'm going to walk you guys through what it looks like for me planning an entire month. So I'll go ahead and plan all of June with you guys. So as you'll notice down here, I have a bunch of other things. So number one, I have my YouTube content calendar, and this has its own workflows of things that I do. And as you can see, I kind of sequentially, so I kind of go through as much as I can. But this is my YouTube content. It looks very much like the other one. Instagram graphics, me going through trying to make them all up. And then I have TikTok. All right, but down here is really what's important. So I have, as you can see back there, I have these categories. I have portfolio, client education, photographer education, and sometimes I like to put in personal posts too. So for each of these 4 categories, I have a whole sheet to go with them. So for ideas personal, I have ideas under personal, I have travel, I have Shenandoah. So under each main category, I have subcategories and a bunch of ideas under them. So I have ideas for client education. I have all these ideas for weddings, elopements, seniors. These are all of the portfolio posts that I still want to blog. These are all the ones that were on my old website before I rebranded and came to the new one. So if I ever get to a point where I have no more weddings to blog, then I'll come over to the old stuff and I will start reblogging those. But these are the ones I want to get to first. So there's a portfolio. For photographer education, I have all of these subsections that I want to go through. So what I do is I come over to my content calendar. Oop, that's YouTube. And I see that I have 1, 2, 3, 4 portfolio posts. And so normally I like to do a wedding post, an engagement post, and a senior post. And I like to rotate between the 3 so that, like in a whole section of my blog, it's not like senior, 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 senior. Like I want you guys to always see that I do weddings, engagements, and seniors. So what I would do is, let's just say this first one is going to be a wedding. So I'd come over to portfolio. And let's say these were all styled shoots because I didn't have any weddings. I also don't like doing multiple styled shoots in a row, but let's just say I wanted to do this styled shoot first. So I'd come over to my content calendar and I would just paste that there. So that's wedding and then engagement. So going back to portfolio, let's just do Lauren and Amy's engagement session. So coming back and pasting that. And then have a senior. So let's just say I want to do this one next for the senior. And then back to wedding. Oops. Back to wedding. I would come down, maybe go to reserving. Let's do Helen and Aaron's wedding. All right. So then I have all of my portfolio posts just ready. So then I see I have 2 photographer education posts. And also as I go through, I also like delete them off of my grids, but I'm actually not going to keep this. It's just for you guys. I will redo that when I get there. But let's just say for photography education, these bolded ones are ones that I've been told that people really want. So I'm going to try to get to these first. Let's just say how to prioritize in your business. That's one that people want right now. So I'm going to put that one there and I'm going to unbold that. And then I have one more that people will want. And let's just say, watch me reuse my blog content since we're talking about blogging right now. All right, let's just put that there and unbold it. Then the only things I have left are 2 client educations. And depending on the season, it's June, which means wedding season is pretty much over for spring, but that means senior session is almost over. So I try to, what I'm thinking of right now is if it's early spring, it's a really good time for senior and wedding blog post ideas because those are all coming up in April and May, but because it's afterwards, you can go pretty much anywhere. So let's just say I want to do the best dresses to elope in. Let's just say I want to do that, put that there. And then let's say I want to do a senior. When to take your graduation portraits. Perfect. So that's in there. And then going through, this is when I would create an actual post inside of WordPress for each of them. I'd name them correctly, whatever I want, and set them all as drafts. And then I'd go in and I would outline them all one by one by one by one. Normally what I do is I copy and paste, for example, the portfolios. If they did a client questionnaire with me, I would copy and paste a lot of their answers in there. and I was kind of free type about what happened throughout the session, and that's the outline for me, and then I'll go back and turn that into an actual blog post. And then for something like this, when you take your graduation portraits, I'd go in and I would create a bunch of heading ones in my writing so that I can outline them all. And that's pretty much how that would go. And then I would go through and edit them all on probably on one day, and then I would do Pinterest pins for all of them, and that's how I kind of get ahead. So that's how I plan my content calendar. I hope that was really helpful for you guys. Let me know if this was good for you, if this behind the scenes made sense for you, and if you will be implementing this. So let me know if you guys also want a copy of this content calendar, if you think that would be helpful for you to kind of see everything visually like I do. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if this was helpful for you and you like more stuff like this. So thank you. I'll see you next time.